There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Hello, welcome to Bite Size Analysis. My name is Jared. Today is everyone's favorite horror movie, starring everyone's favorite killer, Jason Voorhees. That's right, we are talking about the one and the only Friday the 13th. Sorry, I gotta take this 1 second. Wait, what do you mean Jason's not in this one? Well then who's the killer in this one? His mom? You're telling me he doesn't even get his mask to the third one? How did this movie ever get so many sequels? This movie stars everyone's favorite killer, Pamela Voorhees. She kills the counselors as her son would later do, but did it for a different reason. Jason has no reason for why he kills the camp counselors other than doing it for his mother. Pamela Voorhees is doing it because, according to her, Jason drowned while the counselors were watching. She then goes on a rampage of misplaced rage. Our movie starts with some happy singing around a campfire. We see two counselors sneak away to do the one thing you never want to do in these movies. They go off to have one-on-one time before we get our first ever kills in these movies. God, you're telling me one of these two kills are freeze frames? You're telling me the first two kills in these incredibly violent movies are mediocre stabbing in a freeze frame? I'm still so surprised we got as many sequels as we did. It cuts to a fake 3D titles card and it comes right for the screen. Oh my! We begin our interesting experience that is a Friday the 13th movie without Jason. We meet Annie Phillips on her way trying to make it to Camp Crystal Lake. She meets some of the residents of the town, one of whom invites her in. Before they can head on their way, they meet Ralph, who likes to talk about curses.
Good camp blood, ain't you? God damn it, Ralph, get out of here. Go on, get!
Maybe he's just super into witchcraft? She gets dropped off at a random cemetery, and driving up to the cabin is Jack, Mr. Young Kevin Bacon himself, Ned the wannabe jokester, and fun fact, the guy who gives Jason his mask has his personality entirely written on this character. Isn't that great when these movies start getting repetitive? We meet Marcy, who only barely has a point other than to die. Like most of these characters, don't get yourself too attached to any of them. And finally we meet Alice, the girl who set the trope of the final girl into the spotlight. We get the 1-2 punch of her and Laurie Strode, and begin the notion of the final girl. After we meet these sets of characters, we are introduced to two more for Miss Voorhees to murder. We have Brenda, and like most of the other characters, they're not ones to get attached to too quickly. Bill shows up as the masculine version of characterless Brenda. However, he is played by the son of Bing Crosby, Harry Crosby, which is a very interesting connection. Annie still hasn't shown up, causing everyone to wonder where she is. We cut to Brenda almost ending up like the target she was holding when Ned shoots at it, giving us one of the weirdest lines of dialogue in this movie.
You know, you're beautiful when you're angry, sweetheart.
We cut, and Alice tries to go into her cabin before she finds a snake under her bed. Not so fun fact, they actually killed the snake because the scene was not originally planned. The actress playing Alice found the snake under her bed and freaked out, which caused the scene. Ned is being quite insensitive. Not cool, man. We cut over to our characters as they start playing everyone's stormy night favorite, Strip Monopoly. We see Kevin Bacon character Jack Burrell and Marcy Stanler going at it before what is potentially the most famous kill of the entire movie. Kevin Bacon smokes lettuce before his forehead is grabbed and he gets his neck stabbed through the bunk bed, leaving the one recognizable actor in this film dead. Another iconic kill immediately follows. One of the girls goes to shower and gets axed straight into her forehead. As the Strip Monopoly game comes to an early ending, Brenda goes to the washroom, just barely misses seeing her friend dead. Brenda goes into the rain and unfortunately gets killed off screen. The lead counselor gets his car stuck in the mud and gets picked up by a cop who tries to bring him back to Camp Crystal Lake, but the cop gets a call and has to drop him off. The lead counselor then gets quite literally blindsided by someone we don't see and is suddenly killed off screen. Again, I don't know how these movies ended up with such insane kills in these sequels. Alex goes to look for Bill and ends up running into Pamela Voorhees, our Jason of this film. After they come face to face and Alice realizes she's the killer, and after some Pam slaps, Alice manages to run away. She finds the bodies of her friends like many final girls after her, and mimicking the closet scene from Halloween, Pamela Voorhees bursts down the pantry room, but Alice manages to get away. Pamela, however, comes back for round 2 on the beach, and after a few close calls from Alice, she finally gets the upper hand and freaking beheads Pamela. Afterwards, she's found by the cops in a canoe where we get the first ending jump scare of the series, which, fun fact, is the only seconds of Jason in this entire film. We then find out that there was no little boy. Or was there? And with that, a bite has been taken out of Friday the 13th. While Friday the 13th is not a bad movie by any means, it still surprises me that this movie got as many sequels as it would. The way that this movie killed people is one that the sequels would try their hardest to overcome, and most of them do a good job. While I do enjoy this film, I think it's one of the weakest films in this franchise. It's not at the bottom of my list, but it does not match some of them like Part 3 or Part 4. I'm not a huge fan of this film particularly, but I am incredibly grateful for the films that would spawn because of this film. Thank you very much for watching, it is very much appreciated. I do appreciate every single one of you who clicks on and watches my videos. If you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. You can check out my podcast, on here or iTunes or Spotify. I talk about movies, anything. If you want to hear me talk more like this, more, casual and make mistakes and mess up, no editing, just there's a little editing, but you know what I mean, not a lot. This is where you would do it. It's a podcast, so go check that out. You can go follow my Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch @SlashItHorror. Remember, if you work hard, you can achieve anything.